Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the afternoon show. So welcome to Learn to Trade live on the US Open. We are waiting for data, and it's going to be very, very important data as well. We are seeing just a little bit of weakness step into the market, and the European space seems to be suffering the most. The NASDAQ just won't go down. Continues to create higher highs, and looks like we're at another all-time high on the NASDAQ. I'm not sure what that level up there is. It's probably from a different price point on a different chart, but you can see that is a very parabolic move on the NASDAQ. No doubt that we want to try and get on board, but at this level, it is just too lofty. So what we have coming up in the US show is we will have a look at the ISM manufacturing report, and it could be the start. It could be a catalyst for a little bit of downside. You can see here I've got an S&P 500 short in the market currently, and it is continuing to behave itself. Came away from this particular level that I marked off with a trend line. Trading the head and shoulders pattern here. That's the idea with the S&P 500. So it does mean if it breaks to the top end of that, then I will lose interest fairly swiftly. So there's our left shoulder there. There's our head. And there is our right shoulder. So we do have a potential reversal pattern going on here, but this daily pivot is just about managing to hold it up currently. So certainly some buyers are left in the market, and maybe they do manage to continue to push this one higher. But some of the indications that that we are having here is that there could be some weakness stepping in. VIX currently at 27, and I'd like to see the VIX pop right up to 30, really, to have a bit more confidence that we can start day trading this market and not get kind of swept away while this continues to grind higher. We need a pickup in volatility if this is to start to come down and then take another bounce. I'd quite like to aim for this weekly pivot down here if possible. So that's the plan really with the S&P. Now we are seeing, as I say, some of the European space suffering. This is the Euro Stoxx 50, and you can see that again it is just looking like a potential head and shoulders pattern could be forming here. Left shoulder there, we got the head there, and looks like we got a right shoulder going on there. So a breakdown of a I suppose angled neckline would suggest maybe something a little bit deeper than just testing the neckline. But we may as well just see a move down there and then back up again as we kind of get into just a little bit of choppy price action until we get some further clarity on what's going on with the election over in the US. I think that's probably the thing that is putting the markets just on a little bit of a hold right now. But it's also some of the data points are just a little bit cooler than they could be. You know, they're not too bad, but and they are still showing expansion, but they are maybe not showing quite the same rate of expansion. Hey, how you doing, Lewis? It's just me actually. Now hold on a minute. I've got a feeling. Oh yeah, that's all good, all good. Just me because we have Shukri. Hey, buddy, how you doing? I'll bring you on in a couple of minutes, mate. You can tell us what we're planning to do in the US session. There's probably going to be little extra trading that I will do at this stage because the Dow Jones H1. Well, the pattern itself alone, no, I don't, but the fact that I am quite bearish is the wrong word, but I'm a little bit negative on markets generally. I do think that is a signal that can be traded. So we're looking across the board, and we are seeing head and shoulders patterns forming on the likes of the S&P and the Dow. Say the Nasdaq is kind of doing its own thing. It's as much as we got with the Nasdaq is just a little head and shoulders pattern forming on the 15, but you certainly wouldn't be trading that on such a strong market. But yes, I think it's valid, Lewis. This is the thing about this trade. Hey, SF, how you doing, buddy? This is the thing, okay? So you will need this if this is to go in the right direction, or what might be the case is that we don't see any real significant push higher from this point. So let's bring it in here. So if you look at the numbers that we are waiting on, manufacturing PMIs from Canada won't be that impressive, nor will the final manufacturing PMI, because it's going to be instantly trumped by the ISM manufacturing PMIs from the United States. Now, that means that taking a trade before it is absolutely fine if it comes to the higher level. And that means that you'll be you're back to kind of trading technically. So if you're looking at this as a head and shoulders pattern, which I can see, and I think it is valid, and it does come to the daily pivot. But if we're going to be looking to play that, if we're going to be looking to trade that, then we'd need to see it here minimum. Price would have to get to that point minimum because of the data that's going to be released, and that data could drag it up here. Now, ideally, what we'd want to see is this pattern and then a fundamental driver, rather than trading the pattern first. We're only a matter of less than an hour and a half away from a really, really important data point. So what we'd really want to see is this push into this area during ISM, and then just before ISM pushing up and then pushing back, just so there's an actual bar to trade. Because if there was, then you really are in a good shape. You really are in good shape, because you'll have all the price action which will give you a much probably more even left shoulder in comparison to the right shoulder. Much more even right shoulder in comparison to the left. But then you have a trigger along with the data, because what will the only other way to play it is if price comes up here before ISM. Taking a trade here means that we need ISM to help us out, and it might push straight down. And you'd have to be aware that a hard stop is fine up here, as long as you can handle any really kind of like emotive price action coming up and down. And I wouldn't be putting stops here, because what could happen is it could come up and straight back down again. So you'd want to see a hold here. If a bar held there for maybe 15 minutes after ISM, then you'd want to close out the trade. And it would mean that your risk is just that, even though your hard stop is that. So you'd be risking a fraction of the 1%. It looks like maybe even a third of 1%. If you were to put this arrow in that space in a few times, a third of 1% if it closed just above this particular level here. So there's a few ways to play it. Down here, no good. It'd have to be at the higher level before that data was released. After data is released, if ISM is looking weak, then given everything else that could provide some volatility and a drift to the downside, i.e. the election, then trading down here will be absolutely fine. So that if that was to happen, and then after ISM that was to happen, then taking a trade at that lower area would be great. Not a problem at all. So we've got to work it around the data. And we either take a higher position, we either take a trade at the higher position before data, or we wait for the data to be released. And it because it's likely to get choppy here anyway before that data is released. So it might get choppy all the way up to this point, giving you a better price point to enter if you believe in the short. But the ISM has to help us out if we are short, which I am. But if we're short, then we need the help from the ISM, and you can see that I'm short very close to the top end of this this head and shoulders. Now I didn't foresee us getting too much higher before that data was released, but that did happen, and there was another short in the market in this morning's show there that I don't know if anybody took, but that would have been a really good price. Now we're here. I don't mind this, because if it closes above this area, I will close down the trade, and I'll be risking half my taking half the risk if I can get out early enough. But what I'm waiting on now at a pretty good price, not amazing, but a pretty good price. It's only 10 pips from the high there, which is a third of 1% of the price of the S&P. In fact, it's a bit less than that. So it's a pretty good price here because the neckline's down here. So I'm quite happy with where this is at, but I do need ISM to help me out. So so look for as high as you can get. I took this trade yesterday, and I took it there, and it did come down, but unfortunately it's popped back above the daily pivot, and the price action is at this stage just being a little bit frustrating. But I don't suspect it's going to go too far before that data release is out. So what else we got? Hello, Gaurav, sorry, how are you, buddy? Weakness in the Swissy today. Weakness in the Swissy today. Well, dollar Swiss is there. Let's have a look. CAD Swiss is up. Swiss yen down. Euro Swiss up. Now I can tell you. Okay, so firstly, what's happened in the markets today when it comes down to points of interest and data releases, and this is what's happened today. We've had Swiss. Where are you? Manufacturing PMIs come out, and they come out better than expected. Now you'd want to read that report to maybe garner what the information was, but that was released at 8:30 UK, which is 10:30 MT4 time. So let's just have a look at what happened at 10:30 MT4, and it is there. So the data release has coincided with a rally against the Swissy, and if we bring it in against all of these, we can see Euro Swiss started to rally at that point as well. Swissy yen gave a pretty nice signal for some downside actually. So look at how the data is is in relation. You know, even the short term data is something that we can look at for trading purposes, because we could trade off the back of the data release. Now the data release looks pretty positive. So there's no guarantee that you are going to get what you need. And this is the interesting thing about data, is that data can come out and people can get very negative on it. However, what is more likely is that this data doesn't matter. It just becomes a timing tool rather than a specific aid to help us make the decision on whether we should be going long and short. Because there are other things, there are other factors at play which would suggest that we should be short the Swissy right now. One of the big things is the COT report. Now, the COT report that I was reading, and if I'm not mistaken, but the COT data that I was reading was pretty damning for the Swissy, and that was around about 2 weeks ago. It was fairly damning for the Swissy. Now, the COT report in isolation is no use to us, but if we look at the COT report and check out the data, then it can help us out, can help us to make some decisions. So yeah, you saw that too, Shukri, right? It looked pretty bad, looked pretty bleak on the Swissy, that COT report data. And if we're considering some called for a buy of 91.65 on, what's that, the dollar Swiss? $0.9165, is it? Not hit yet. Okay, well, he's going to be looking for just above this this monthly pivot. So I quite like that trade. I mean, you know, you may want this to establish a little further, but if you're looking at this on longer term timeframes, which there wouldn't be a problem with doing, then COT report data would be really useful. Geoff is Geoff's off because we got Shukri in the house for his session. So we tend to flip flop because we want to give Shukri all the time he needs to tell us what's going on with the cryptos. Now, and he should have been Orlando in this morning, but he was dealing with some family issues. But yeah, check out the Swissy for longer term possibilities. Now, looking at this on the monthly, this is against the dollar, and I'm not sure if I'd want it against the dollar, but look where it is. It's on a pretty good level of support here. So looking for some strength in the dollar or some other currency would suggest that that actually the Swissy would be a pretty good one to trade against. Now the Aussie is already fairly lofty there against the Swissy. The CAD could be an option. Euro could be an option as well. Actually, Euro looks pretty good because it looks like the Euro has taken out this level now. So Euro Swiss would be a decent option, and maybe even Pound Swiss as well. Pound Swiss looks all right, and I have to say that, as I said that before, that the Swissy is showing some signs and signals of some weakness if the COT data is anything to go by. I'd want to see some seasonality as well, and maybe get a grasp of some of the fundamental reason that that people are shorting the Swissy. But it does look to me like that may that may be what we are going to be looking at for a period of time. Some short-term sell options in the Swissy. So we will look at that as time goes on. So anyway, we are about an hour and 15 away from the data. There's not a whole bunch for me to do, but let's bring Shukri in because I want to know what's going on in his session in the US show. So let me give you some power here, mate. And just give everybody a bit of an overview. You don't have to kind of go into too much detail because I know we're doing something. I know we're doing something specific later, and you're going to show us something specific. But if you just give us an overview, that would be fantastic. Let's promote you there. And I will promote you there.
Okay, you guys hear me?
Yeah, man, how you doing?
Ah, great. Okay, can you, Ash, can you put on the Ethereum USD chart? Ethereum, yeah, ETH.
Oh, I certainly can, yeah. Ethereum USD, fascinating chart. Does not want to come back. Does not want to come back. I mean, this is the thing, scant opportunity to try to trade Ethereum and silver, really. I mean, you literally blink and you miss it with both these, and the NASDAQ, actually. But there's some really strong markets out there right now. Okay, so we want Ethereum USD.
And Ethereum continues to grind higher today. Yeah, that's DAX.
Yeah, that was my my default chart. Here we go.
There it is.
Here we go.
There it is. Look at that, 470, about to hit 500. So what we're going to see is why this is going up. But as we discussed last night, you know, the US dollar now does not fail to not deliver. So it's falling like a rock. But as we know, things that go up must eventually come down, or rather things that go down must eventually come up. A little bit of retracement or whatever. So tonight, you know, like you showed us some charts last night, right? Like what happened in September. So we're going to go back in time tonight and see what happened before. Having said that, despite the correction that I think we're going to get in the crypto markets, we're still going to do a lot of work. There's a lot of work to be done because now we are going to build the base again. You know, I think that the first round is about to come to an end. So, you know, when we started this, you guys saw my account, right? I started with 25,000 US. I think by the time you guys saw it, no, but someone else saw it at 33,000. By the time you guys saw it, it was 31,000 US, right? So today, and that was what, 2 months ago? Was it?
Yeah, but probably so, mate. I don't think I've not been around for those.
So today,
those exposures. Yeah, go on.
It is 102,000 US.
In 2 months?
In 2 months, yeah. It grew from
Very
like
nice.
25,000 US to 102,000 US in about 3 months or so. So
good job.
That tells me something that something's going to pop. I am not resting on my laurels now.
Oh, fair play. Okay.
And if it's going to pop, what are we going to do? Are we going to wait till it comes back again? And then we're not going to do that. Are we going to short the market? No. We're not going to do that either. So I'm going to tell you guys what we're going to do tonight. And also tonight, I'm going to tell you that what is after crypto, because cryptos are very, very prone to a lot of things we call dumps. And these are cruel things. So what can we do? So I'm going to show you what we do. Let's pretend that we can go back in time, man. This is like Back to the Future. What happens when the run ends next year or early 2022, like I predict? Can we make money then? Hell yes. And I'm going to bring you back in time and Back to the Future tonight. So, the film Back to the Future is going to be something like that. So, yeah.
Fantastic.
Gonna be a great night.
Sounds good, mate. Sounds good. Okay, looking forward to that. So we got Shukri in starting in about 10 minutes. We're gonna go over to the US room, and we're gonna talk cryptos, and we're gonna figure out how we're gonna handle the next phase. I suppose is what we're talking about here, right?
Yes.
How we're gonna handle the next phase.
And by the way, as Geoff said, I'm not from planet Earth. Okay, I'm from another planet. And I met someone his age also is like 57, and he said, like, you're not from this earth. So I'm definitely not from this world. Okay.
Okay, so we can trust aliens, as we all know. So we should be able to find out what the man from another planet thinks about what we're going to do next. And I suppose it's going to have a bearing on the markets as well, Shukri. I mean, have you got a view on the markets because of cryptos, or is
yes,
it's
like you said. I think September will be a bearish month. However, going into the election, it looks like to be good again. So I think this is going to be, I'm not sure about what the equities will do. I think you're better at that. But for cryptos, I expect a deep but fast correction. Like the V shape, you saw that? Cryptos like to do that.
Yeah.
Because again, right, I've been through this before. The market does not really repeat itself, but it rhymes. So I expect the same rhyme.
I see. Okay. So are we going to be looking for some signs and signals that is going on?
Yes, we are.
Okay,
and guys,
fantastic.
Okay, for the guys who are not here, but Paul has said that my show goes on next week. See, guys, when cryptos are like this, okay, crypto is like you fall in love with a beautiful girl, but she will always let you down. And then she comes back and you forgive her again and again. And then she takes you to another higher high. And then she dumps you again. And then she comes back. Oh, please forgive me. And that's what happened in cryptos. Just when you thought you sealed the deal, it does the opposite. Similarly, just when you thought you want to give up, it does the opposite again. That's cryptos for you.
Yeah. So we're looking at a bit of a rough ride then, maybe ahead, potentially with some of these cryptos.
Yes, it is. It's been very good so far, but it's just gone a little bit kind of wild, because I was showing Geoff, because I was saying to Geoff, since he's over 60, he should go into yield mining, right, into crypto farming, and I was showing this YFI, and it started at 1,000, and I think by the time we saw it last week, what was it, 14,000, right? It had just surpassed Bitcoin. It was 12 to 14, and it went up earlier this week to 40,000, like 40. So you're like, what is that?
Sorry, say that again. It went from where to where?
It went from 1 to 12, and then it surpassed Bitcoin. So everyone was excited. And then it went from 12 to 40.
Which currency are we looking at here?
YFI. It's called YFI.
Oh, yes, I remember. Yeah, YFI, yes.
The Geoff coin.
I got you, mate. Okay, so that's on a bit of a rally as well, is it?
Yes, that's gone crazy. And that is the thing that you get rewards for when you yield farm. So guys, the guys who are new here, you do not have to trade cryptos, guys. You can get this by farming cryptos. I have a farm. That's why I have a bamboo farm or something. See that? You don't trade this. You get it as a reward. Yeah. Right. And that's why I have some reward too. It's not worth a lot, but it's going to be worth a lot soon. So I'm happy about it.
Oh my God, it's up 600%.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And I'm going to show you guys something like this also tonight. Just don't fall off your chair, okay? Please fasten the seatbelt.
I think I've already fallen off my chair. 600%, that's not even a month. Goodness
That's not
me.
even a month, right? So when you see this, it's not sustainable. Because
of course
people are going to take profit. You remember when gold went up and it was supposed to be, risk off? And then suddenly, even though it was risks off, gold like plummeted because people just are going to take profit. I mean, you'd have to be crazy not to take profit there, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's you don't put yourself in a winning position like that, and then don't take something off the table. But so yeah, 600% is a crazy number. Yeah. So okay, well we'll be doing that, mate. The one thing that we need to do at 3 o'clock is just watch the ISM data release. Just to make sure that. For anybody that is in the S&P 500 short, or if you've chosen something else, that we've got just a little bit of a leg up, because we're going to need that, as I say. We're going to need a bit of a leg up if this thing's coming down. So, but behind all the crypto information, are we going to get some reason that we are expecting it to do what it's you propose it to do, or is it just purely going to be driven by the stock market?
Dollar. It's driven by the US dollar and the stock market, correct?
Okay. So really, when we're looking at this stuff, we've got to be right on top of the dollar index, because if we're not, then this is where things could get pretty tricky, right? If we're not into the DXY. Let me bring in the DXY.
Yes, you got to bring. Yeah, that's why the most important chart in crypto, guys and gals, is the US dollar index, followed by the S&P.
So actually, the DXY is going to be, the ISM manufacturing number is going to be important for the crypto space as well today.
And remember, Friday, Ash, NFPs.
And Friday, NFP. Yeah, well, actually, it's big week, isn't it? Big week for data points, and yeah, I think.
I'm thinking of taking. I want to take some profits off the table. I'll probably take half of it before the NFPs.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So we could be looking at NFP. We could be looking at the manufacturing, but also on top of the manufacturing data, we have to be looking at the non-manufacturing data as well, which is ADP non-farm change.
Yes.
Going to be an interesting data point. So actually, we got a slew this week that really could jerk things up again.
Yeah, guys, you got to join me for my crypto show. You know why? What did Julian say? He expects the Euro USD to go to 1.54. And 1.54, I'm probably not going to come back to planet Earth again, okay? You guys are going to have to find me on another universe or something.
Oh, yeah, if it goes to 1.54. That would be an astonishing move if it manages to get itself there. But we will see. See if that happens. It may well do, as you say. So, okay, mate. Well, that's sounding good. All right. Well, let's finish this aspect of the show. We'll be back in the US show. We're just going to go straight transitioning over. I'm going to play us a tune a little bit early, and only a minute early, 60 seconds early, and then after the tune, we're going to be straight to Shukri to give us all his insights into how we're going to...
ISM first, right? We want to see the ISM.
No, ISM's not till 3 o'clock, so it's going to be you.
Okay, later. Okay. 10
yeah,
o'clock.
So we basically got an hour. So we got you, and then we'll start looking at some markets and the ISM and how that might shift things around a bit. They're actually expecting a slightly weaker number with ISM, but if that's any more, that's a non-manufacturing. That's on Thursday. So it really is a massive week, really. And then we got non-farm on Friday. So massive week for global equities this week, and we are just seeing that picture possibly start to come into play. Look at this now. S&P just weakening a little bit an hour before data is released. But yeah, let's get on to the other show, mate. Now I think I can stop the stream here, and we'll be going over to the US show. For the rest of you, we'll see you in the morning. Have a great